Oh, there you go. Look at that. Look at that. So look, Lila just called me and she wants money. So that she just has the habit of calling me at the right time. So I just got to transfer her some money because that's just how it is. There's one thing working. That's cool. So life would have it that way that she calls at the best times and asks for the most relevant of stuff, and I deliver. She can have half now and then half. When she, that's to me. That's me. That's not her. That's me. Oh, that's wrong. She want to pay me. Jeez. There you go. Look, there you are, Lila. That's for you. There you go. Does your face thing work on it now? That's done. That's done. There you go. Look at that. So that they have the fun, the joys of watching me transfer money for my daughter. That's magical. So, what was I going to say? So here we are, and I'm going to go through. I thought the best way of doing this is how I usually do these with for our Father's Rights group, and that's basically going to answer some of these questions that I've seen from the group earlier. And these questions will not have the names because this is on a public forum, so these are just random questions that have been picked out from the group. There's one question which is basically, in my view, quite a complex bit of stuff. So basically, someone's got son's dad is taking mum to court for residency, claiming she's abusing the son. Thinking they have additional needs. So basically, the question is going to be, does anyone know where and what I do here from founded assessment for my son's dad? Basically, what you need to do, you have to fund your assessment. You have to either get it on, if you're depending on legal aid, but then I think the most important thing you've got to do with that, that's a big ask. You've got to do, you've got to pay for your independent social worker. That's what you'd need to do there. You get an independent social worker, and it's all going to cost you lots more money. That's going to be expensive. It's going to be expensive. That's what it's going to be, unless you can get the courts to order it and it goes through the local authority. That's a difficult one. I'm not even going to go there on that. For that whole situation is a bit scary. But also, what you've got is let's go this way. 1 second. Let's just put that up there. I fucking had all these questions earlier, and then I've lost them. And I typically the overviews. There's got to be another overview. Oh, there's 2 overviews. Oh, this is good. Last 2 months, I've had 3 of my ex's friends contact me saying they can't get hold of the person. Been currently blocked. Genuinely, what about the child now? So that there is if you've got the welfare check does need to be done, definitely 100%. And I would contact the son's your son's school, and I would the school is a safe space. The school's a safe space, so you can always contact the school. There's no reason for you not to be able to contact the school and find out if your son's okay there. I'd probably do that over doing a police welfare check, because that will get used against you in family court should you be there, or should you end up going there, because ultimately you're thinking about the child then as well. You're thinking about making sure that the children you don't want the children seeing the police turning up on the doorstep and then asking loads of questions while the policeman here, blah blah blah, because that's what I've done previously, stupidly, and well, it got used against me in court because it wasn't good for Lila, because it's not good having the police knocking on your doorstep. If you have a genuine concern now, then I would always do what you think is right. That's just my opinion on that. Found out that she has a house. Okay, so basically what happens when the has a right to know where she's moving to. So you've got a partner. So your partner is thinking about moving out of the area. If she's moving out of the area and she's not telling you where, or he's not telling you where they're moving to, and they're taking the child with you, you've got every right to know where the child's GP is and blah blah blah. So by rights, that they do have to tell you. I saw a comment earlier where someone said, "Oh, by legally they don't have to say nothing." Well, I don't know how true that is, because legally you need to know where your child is. So, and if there's a court order in place, then legally they need to follow the court order. And if they're going to be moving away, and that means that's going to impact the court order, then legally they should be making an application to court themselves to say that they're moving away and trying to change the court order. By rights, what I would do if they're thinking about thing like leaving the country is always make an application to prevent them leaving the country. Definitely. 9 times out of 10, though, 80% of the time, maybe the request to be relocated will be approved, because they will call into. I've said this before. They will. They'll cite a previous case law, and it's pain, where they basically the woman was allowed to leave to New Zealand, and she said it was for her own mental health, and because it was for, there was a first ruling that said it was for her own mental health, but if her mental health wasn't good, then she would not be able to care for the child. So 9 times out of 10, 8 times out of 10, they will be allowed to relocate, but they don't have to tell you the exact address, but they can tell you the location, and you'll be able to get your child's GP records. But it's always important to know where your child is, obviously. So with that, does it want to know where moving to? You don't know it's moving to, but that just answered that question. Holidays, right? Holidays. That's a funny old one. They're allowed to go on holiday without the family. This is a reminder this year. Family is the is the mum and the child. Whoever the children live with, wherever the children live, that's the family home, right? So whoever's got the lives with is what that is. Whoever the children lives with, they're allowed to take the child out of the country without your consent for up to 30 days. Yeah, or 28 days, I think it is. So unfortunately, there's not a lot you can do about that. If you want to take the children out of the country, you'll probably get a flat no, or asked to pay £10,000, because that's never happened to me before. And it's flat no. Ultimately, you won't be able to take your child out overseas, but they'll be able to do what they want, because obviously they've carried the child for 9 months and whatever, and they're obviously more in tune with what the child wants and speak to it telepathically. That's just how that is, and that's how that works. So we've got a few other questions here. Now, what I would say as well, right, is what I would say is people need to give more love, man. Give more love. So many negative people out here at the moment, not in our group, but in the world in general. Talking some people an absolute fucking farcical joke. Hi all, could do with a bit of advice, please, as the legality of the 13-year-old is. What's this one for? I don't think he did. So okay, so basically we've got a question here. Did you've got a 16-year-old at home who has not been the most of time now, and then a 19-year-old who's been out some of the time? There's been something happen to the 13-year-old whilst out with his mates. I got a phone call to the 13-year-old, go and fetch him. They don't live with me, so that's left them. I wasn't until 13 calls. I'm answering that because that's too divisive and opinionated for what I believe to be the correct procedure for that. Is there any dads out there run a household on their own? Yes, I've done it before. That are really struggling because of work and I can't get the help. But do you know what, Craig? Do you know what? That is a fair point. Yeah, because there is nothing out there for men who are trying to run a home and at the same time work. That women get very much reduced hours and whatnot. There's nothing. There's not. But us men, we don't. There was never really much for us to get so that sort of aiding and support. So that's a fair point. I mean, I like it. But it's funny, right? Because when you're in a group of people that's there for advice, right? And I think it's very funny when people start the text message or start the message with, "Can I get some advice, please?" I think it's cute. I'll answer that question. Isn't it a sad state of affairs when you need to have Johnny Depp levels of money to throw away in order to get the truth to be listened to? That is exactly the fucking point. Right there. Because people can say and think and do what they like, how they like, and then you have to have that much money to go out there and just fucking, even though there's something that's been ruled over it's ridiculous. You're absolutely right with that. Anyone you can't see a child, look, first thing you do is always mediation. If the police have been involved, right? So the process is you want to try and find your children. You're trying to see your children. Okay, so you've got they put a non-molestation in place for you, right? So you put a non-molestation, you put your child application in. The typical scenario is they'll put a non-molestation order back on you, right? And then that delays proceedings for your child arrangements. Solicitors will say, no, it's not delaying anything. It is it's delaying everything because it's what it's there to do. And that's why the women do it. Or, yeah, that's why they do it. So, so you put the non-molestation in. Sometimes they even put the non-molestation in and they won't put the child arrangements application in. They do that as well. And then if like me, you'll get to the end of your non-mol and you will be like, oh, crap. I'm not fighting for my child after what I'm doing a non-mol. So whenever you get a non-molestation application put in, make sure you try and combine the two. Yeah, so you can shorten the time. Even if you have the non-molestation put in before your child, and then you have to put your child application in afterwards, you can still combine it as long as your child application goes in early enough to get your catcher on the non-molestation application. Once you've cleared up the non-molestation stuff, then you can go on about child arrangements. And then that's so much smoother. It's much more delay, a much longer delay. But that's why they do it. That's the plan. That's the goal behind it all, is to make sure that they delay and frustrate the process. How to defend yourself? By defeating him, breaking him. Can't argue with that. Right, so you've had a breakdown. If you've had a breakdown, right, and you've and part of the reason why you had a breakdown was because you weren't seeing your children, because you weren't seeing your children, then you've got the help that you need and you're all signed off now. And ultimately, you're now worried about making an application to court because you're going to worry in case your mental health is going to get used against you. Oh, and that's always going to be a concern. And they will try and use it against you. They will. And you have to go do loads more tests and whatnot. They'll try and test you while you're in the court process. see if you're mental health at some point. You'll have to get letters from the crisis team and all that sort of stuff. I think don't let that put you off though. Making applications. Always self-represent. Yeah, always self-represent. I can't put it any other way. There's no point in doing anything other than self-representing in that sort of situation. You're going to get the same outcome with whether you self-represent or whether you have a solicitor or not. It's going to be exactly the same. I promise you. And you'll half the time by doing it yourself. You'll probably get a better result by doing it yourself. And ultimately, you don't have to worry about being under the spell of a solicitor that you've got to. That probably won't even give the messages across that you want him to give or her to give, and then off the back of that, get a crap result because they prolong it because they want you to go back even more. So that one deserves a little bit of a copy and paste there. Then that does. You give me a call, and I can sort that, help you out with that. And this is quite cool, right? So there's a video there for how do you call it? What you do when people hate, how much you hate. Yeah. So if you hate people, if you're hating on people, right? And let me just do this one sec. Because people, there's, like I said earlier, there's lots of people hating on.
Like a fruitful person, but this is not for no reason. This person is these 7 things that love is. They're patient, kind, truthful, protect others, they hope, they persevere. But in life, people come along and they hurt us. They can take your fruit, they can't touch your root. In other words, they can hurt you.
They can take your fruit, but they can't take your fruit.
Love through the hurt, loving through the hurt, keep protecting, keep trusting, restores everything that was taken from you. The problem is we decide we're going to put ourselves first after we've been hurt. And then we become these 8 things that love is not. We're angry, rude, envious, prideful, boastful. Now, this is no longer what someone did to us. This is what we're doing to ourselves.
So there you go, you see?
Decision. When we get here, unfortunately, we think it's everyone else's fault.
Yeah.
So, hate destroys the haters. All in this book. The Right Fight. How to Live a Loving Life.
That would have been good if it. That would have been good if he wasn't doing a plug. But yeah. But that there, people hating on people for fucking just life, man. Still, it goes on everywhere. You got like loads of. You can't help it. I mean, look, people. I say that, and everyone's hating on Amber. What's her name? Amber Leaf, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And rightly or wrongly, I don't really care. It's nothing to do with me. This is the funniest thing about this whole Johnny Depp thing. I think it's publicised the right point for how can you put it? The thing that the stuff that we have to put up with in family courts as men, and I think rightly so. But I think the fact of the matter is that the amount of people that are hating on top of that, she's obviously feeling it's an active. I think it's all a big show anyway. But I think the amount of people that are hating on her, it's none of our business. Does that make sense? I mean, I'm not really. I think it's a good thing that it highlights what it highlights, but at what cost to her? I don't know. I think it's probably one that I wouldn't want to be sort of indebted to, because she's getting the amount of abuse that she's getting is it's a bit harsh on her. I understand what she's done, and I do understand what she's done because I've had it done to me, and I get it done to me. So doesn't mean that it's everyone has to have an opinion on it. Does that make sense? It's like, let her be wrong and let her try and learn from the mistakes rather than fucking everyone jump on it. There you go. That's what society's like, though, isn't it? Everyone fucking, one person hates and then everyone else has to go in and hate as well. And that's just funny. It's just how it is, I suppose. That's how we are as humans. I don't know if any ultimate rights to see my daughter. My ex didn't put me on the birth certificate. She's 1.5 now, and all I've seen is a picture. Yes, so what you do is make an application to court. If there's no police involvement, then yes, C100 and mediation. Try mediation. If she doesn't do the mediation, which she will after a year and a half, then ultimately you go to court. That's all you can do. Get your name on the birth certificate, and get some contact. Feeling a bit lost, aren't we all? Has anyone been told about this? Told by the social worker how they can't put a formal complaint in about the social worker due to family court? No. You can always put a complaint in about you can always put your complaint in about to a social worker. Even when you're in process. I've had people sacked. I've had people sacked when fucking in process. So that's bullshit. Social workers are full of shit sometimes. That's for sure. That is for sure. Hey, where can I find the live, please? It's Claire. Wait 1 second. I mean, why is it not? It's on the. Why can she not find it then? That is the question. Claire. Tom. I think I say spell it. I don't know. I don't know. That's too much for me now. I can't. I'm trying to figure out. So someone's trying to find the live, and it's there, but they can't see it. So it's a bit odd. But there you go. What can you do? Trying to please everyone. So hi, whoever that is there. I think that was what's your name? What's your name again? Mr. Timmy. I know who you mean. I know who I mean. There you go. There you go, Mr. Timmy. So there's someone who's just CLAIR. So I'm just trying this multitasking CLAIR. Right, then what? How do you spell that then? T-mod. No, still not working for me. Still not working for me. Not feeling that. There you go. What can you do? I've tried. It'll probably pop up. We just have to watch it in no time. But the answer was still not there anyway. So I didn't give you the answer to what your question was because it was too much. I'm going to send you a message separately because my answer will divide, unfortunately. So that's just that. So there we are. That's all I've got to say. Life is life, everyone, and you need to be enjoying it. And look, Jana's there, but I don't know what. Look, she's there, but she's not. We're going to be doing more lives, me and Jana, because she is speaking sense. Plus, I've been having my speaking lessons. I need to be getting my speaking lessons back on track, as well as doing my driving lessons, which is very important because I've just realised that my daughter's probably going to be learning to drive before me, and I think that's a bit scary and lazy on my part as well. If anyone needs like appointments, yeah, can you like use the Calendly link as well? Is that okay? Because it's all well and good having phone calls, but because we've got the 0800 number that's working as well, the phone calls that come in on the 0800 number are not phone calls to do with specifics. So if you need a specific, then we need to be using the links that I give, Calendly links. What I would say as well, yeah, is well, when you've got stepchildren, it's difficult, very difficult. I've got a question for you, Jason. 3 judges all state that lives with order cannot be made until the final arrangements. 4th judge comes doing and makes the final lives with order without a child arrangement and any findings. Judges can do what they want. Judges get to do what they want. The 4th judge comes in and makes live with order. That happens. It happens all the time. You can't get away from the fact that just because one judge, everything's built on an opinion. Everything's built on a specific judge. It's the luck of the day. It's who you've got. That's why when we've got a decent judge, I get my people to say, "Can we keep you? Can we ask the judge? Can you stay for continuity?" And so we've got some consistency throughout it all. And it's always a compliment to the judge, obviously, but then it's like an underhand compliment. And at the same point, it's if you've got a good judge, you want to try and keep them, because when you find a decent judge, I think we've had quite a few of them, good ones, more good than bad recently. I think there's a couple of cases that I'm working on that are really awful because the people aren't getting treated like humans, and I think that's disgusting. How you get treated like it's not a criminal court, but you're getting treated like a criminal because you've got criminal history, and I think that's wrong in itself on a lot of different levels. But there you go, just my viewpoint. What does my viewpoint mean? Nothing to many. That's another thing I want to say as well. Someone said the other day, it was like, "Oh, Jason, you don't see your kid and whatever, and you don't see your kid as much as you should. You got a quarter that says you should see her more." I'm like, "Yeah, I've got a quarter that says I should see her more." So Lila's 14 now, and she's old enough and beautiful enough, and I was going to say ugly enough, but she's not. And beautiful enough to be making up her own choices in life, and she's 14, so she's nearly an adult, and I don't need to go to court to listen to my daughter's wishes and feelings. I think that's important to remember, because I'm hearing rumours of why I can't see my daughter, why I'm not spending as much time with my daughter, and that's all nonsense as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, I don't spend my time with my daughter because I don't control my daughter. I'm not really that controlling. So I give my daughter freedom to do what she pleases. She knows what I'm at. She wants something, she calls me. At the start of this live, she just called me asking me for money. She wanted 40 quid, I'll give her 20. And I'll give her another 20 tomorrow. She's in the arcades, spending money on probably 2p machines or whatever they used to be. And I'm not giving her 40 quid to phone 2p machines, because she's got a bit of an addictive personality. So she'll see something and she'll like it, and she'll just keep doing it until she runs out of money, because she's already spent her money. But then you're only a kid once, aren't you? Do you know what I mean? You're only a kid once. Why would social worker ask me for a picture of a brief description of me if they come around today and else mention it? I don't know why they would do that. It's a bit odd. Mediation voucher scheme. Mediation voucher scheme is over. Yeah, that ended like 2 months ago. If you're waiting for that, then I think you've missed the boat. The reason I'm still here today is my daughter. That's right. 5th hearing for the first time. It's in court. Yeah, directional hearing. It's finally responded. After not responding, previous hearings. Kafkas or mediation is attending for the hearing today. Attended penal notice. Attended penal notice after getting a penal notice. Yeah, well, good. You should put penal notice on everything. Everything should come with a penal notice as standard. Yeah, because I'm not being funny. The court orders aren't worth the paper they're written on if men and women aren't sticking to them. Yeah, and I've got a whole lifetime of people not sticking to bloody court orders, and it's like, fucking, it's the most simplest thing in the world. Just stick to a fucking court order, but they can't do it. It's like it's near on impossible, because what is it? They find it. They will work. Whoever is in charge of scheduling the contact will always schedule it so it suits them. Always. It's like, why would you just? That's not court. That's not right. Oh, it works for you, so it is right. I see. That's how it works. Whoever gets to lives with would be the person who generally would schedule what the court order would say. That's how I used to have it. I used to have it scheduled, and it was like, well, it's quite simple. It's quite straightforward as court order. Just follow the court order. But then, how can you misrepresent the court order? Trust me, people do, and it's like, and then they blame you for misrepresenting it. It's like, well, it wasn't me. I'm just following your instructions. So what do you? Okay, this is a good question. What karma do narcissists experience? Well, this is a good question. You will understand the damage you did to someone until there's. You will never understand the damage you did to someone until the same thing is done to you. That's why I'm here. That's karma. This is probably why. Oh my life, this makes sense. Oh my God, the pennies just dropped. Oh wow, that's a bit of a clever one. So their whole lives. I'm not going to say what I want to say because it could get me into a lot of trouble. But I know people will be watching this. They probably don't like me. And I just had a penny drop moment, and that's going to fuck your thing up. Wherever I stand in court, if the order has been broken for contact and the other party moved before the new order could be served, where do we stand? I take it back to court without the new address. All contact has been stopped. Yeah, you have to go back to court again. You have to make a new application, either a C79 or a C79, or if you put a C100 in again, I put a C100 again and get them to change the order. C79 will just enforce the existing order, and they'll be technical about it, so they'll just enforce what was already there. Nothing new, no new surprises. But you need to get a penal notice attached on everything, because they're going to fuck you over. So a narcissist has done the dirty on you, yeah, like what one has done to me. Don't worry, they will definitely get their karma, and they do, and they absolutely do. And what makes me laugh more than anything else, right? What makes me laugh really, really funny with this average time realizing the report section 7 is there any average time for realizing the report with section 7 after visits are done? The court will get this. No, you'll get the copy of the section 7. You have the right to reply to your section 7. Yeah, so you want to be replying to your section 7. Whatever gets put into the section 7, you need to be responding to it. But what I would say, genuinely, is don't respond to the tit for tat bits, every single point that's been made that's incorrect. Respond to the recommendations. Simple as that. Because otherwise, you get yourself caught into this whole nitpicking thing of, and the courts don't like that. People can spend. Narcissists apparently they're like elephants. Narcissists are like elephants apparently, and in the sense that they don't forget. And if they've got something, they've got a vendetta against someone, they won't stop until they get that person. So by rights, if you've been diagnosed with a potential, if you've been diagnosed with a narcissistic personality disorder, and then you're coming at me, oh, scary. Found it. That's what she said. Found it. That's what she said. You got it. Good. I think that's clear. So I think I answered your question before. So you might have to go to the beginning and watch this again. But I'm also going to be sending you a massive long message because it's very your answer is very, very complex and it's a very difficult one to put up. Everyone's going to have an opinion on it, I think. And the reason why your question hasn't got many answers to it is because it's very difficult to answer. So, I mean, if you want to take it bit by bit, so we've got a person here with being taken to court, being claims of abuse. You've been sent questionnaires 2 weeks before the assessment, and said that the day before the assessment was due to go ahead, he didn't receive the questionnaires. And he called the doctor for the assessment, saying hadn't received the questionnaires. And the question is, so basically, the doctor you've got to just roll with it, unfortunately, I think. because you're not going to change it. If they're giving him preferential treatment in that aspect, you need to be arguing your point more in court to be getting him to pay some money. He needs to be means tested. And then you need to be complaining more, not complaining in a negative way, but complaining in a constructive way. Because if he's getting preferential treatment, then that's not fair. That's not justice. So you've got to be in a position where you verbally either verbalize what you've got to say and say it politely, or put it on a piece of paper and then the judge read it. Your son, any parents going through family court, which is why I will never make another application to court again for myself for Lila, because it causes. I mean, Lila's had to go through it with her parents since she was 3.5, 4 years old. So whenever you go through the family court process, it's going to be causing stress for the child. That goes without saying. They'll be either behaving more badly, or they'll be more badly behaved, or they'll be more anxious and probably more tearful, emotional. Some boys, I was angry when my mum and dad were going through it, and I think my mum successfully alienated my dad from us all. So, but my mum was a bit of a fucking shit mum, to be honest with you. I found it good. I'm glad you found that anyway. It's not right. He's been given 17 days. That person's been 17 days to do all that stuff. But that's why you need to complain about it big time. But you need to do it in the statement into the court, to the judge, not to a complaint process or procedure to the judge. And then do it that way. That's that. I think that's all I've got to say. I've done 30 minutes. Well, I've done my 30 minutes I said I was going to do. I've got quite a lot on still. So if people are needing support, use the Calendly link, which is around somewhere on the what do you call it, on the web, on the page somewhere, probably in the header at the top. But yeah, I think you've all got to there's no standard court order and invoking contact and the other part of the money. Yeah, you can. Yeah. So you take it. Right. So, if the court has been broken, you take it back to court. The party, you don't need the address. You can put another form in on top of the form you've got. I think it's a C4. I think it's a C4. That you basically put a form in. You don't need their address. The court will find them. It'll take longer for them to find them. We had a case where we didn't put the address on the application, and that resulted in an urgent application being waited 6 months because they were found. But then they finally found her, and then we realised we didn't put the address on it, and then we put the address on it, had it anyway. But anyway, I digress. You've got every right. They will find the wherever they are. Yeah, so you don't need the new address. You don't need the new address at all. Just put the email address and phone number, or your last known email address and the last known phone number. And by rights, with the phone number, they'll send them a WhatsApp if necessary, because that's how we are in this world now. WhatsApp. Is there an average time relays? No. Look, as well though, right? There's the average time for going into court right now is between 10 to 14 weeks. Yeah, that's for getting into court. Literally just getting into court. So, and that's best case scenario. I think I've got my first case going into December the other day, which was good. I'm really happy to go into December. Okay, second time going through court, 2 years coming out, and we're back in. My ex waited till 10 p.m. the day before the assessment to contact the doctor to say he hadn't received the questionnaires. If he hadn't received them, then surely you'd be contacting the doctor way before 10 p.m. Yeah, absolutely you would. Absolutely you would. But you literally though with that, yeah, you've got to be firm. You've got to look at this, right? It's your court. It's your court. It's your time. It's both of your time. Whoever looks at it in whichever way they need to look at it, it's your court. It's your time. It's your
argument to have. And that's why you don't want a solicitor, because a solicitor is never going to be putting your argument across the way you want it, because a solicitor will just do what they want to make them more money. You need to put your argument across, and the judge will let you speak as well. Yeah, especially if you've got something to say. So definitely put your complaint in, put it all in paper. So if you get nervous, then anything that you forget to say, you can make sure you've got there. I think that's that then, really. Next week, busy week, another busy week. What have I got? Nebworth for sure. That's happening Friday and Saturday. And then I'll see if I survive that. Then if I survive that, then who knows what will happen after that? Who knows? But it's going to be messy for sure. For sure, I tell you. And then working up until Thursday, but I've got days. I've got 9 hearings this week. So in between the hearings, if you need anything, give me a shout. If you need support for anything, use the link for Calendly. If you want to just have a chat, give me a call. If you want to slag me off, by all means, send me a text message or an email, that's fine. If you want to be my wife, please make an application. Send it through to info@applewatsequality.com. All applications are going into there. There's a total of 3 so far, so keep them coming in thick and fast, as you can imagine. We've been going on for that now for like the last at least 5 years, and we've only got 3 applications, so obviously in high demand there. Eek. Isn't it weird, right, when people like I think it's odd. Anyway, I'm going to go because I've got lots to do, and I'm trying to see what's going on over here, and I need to send this email. So look, it's been beautiful talking to you all, but letting me just release my load of my verbal diarrhea onto you and your dulcet ears. And if I'm your guilty pleasure and you watch this just because you hate me and you're watching it just because you hate me, then I'm grateful for your viewings, whether you're watching it live or whether you're watching it on catch up. And if you are watching it because you are truly in awe of my epic knowledge of family law and how I deal with shit, then thank you too. Genuinely, thanks. Don't forget, family law, they move the goalposts all the time. Yeah, they will only select certain parts of the law that they want to use that suit the case as and when. So, for example, they will courts. I've had two judges say in the last 12 months that they're not going to be paying attention to the wishes and feelings of the children because they don't think it's relevant in this case. What the hell? Anyway, peace and love. Lila's glove. Merry Christmas.